Noeleen Heyzer is Under-Secretary General of the United Nations and Executive Secretary of the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. I spoke to Dr. Heyzer in Port Vila after meetings with Pacific leaders about climate change and also about boosting economic opportunity. Noeleen Heyzer, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for finding time to do this.
Copenhagen proved a disappointment to the vulnerable island nations of the Pacific on many fronts. What's to be done now?
Well, what it is that it has put the agenda, the issue on a global agenda, and it's a political agenda. And there are many things that can, in fact, be done now. The Secretary General is moving forward with this. There's preparation on the way to Mexico, and the small island states could come together to have a more coordinated voice so that their issues are put central to the climate change agenda. I think there's a whole discussion on the climate change adaptation fund, and this needs to be prioritized so that the needs of the small island states could be definitely fast-tracked when this fund becomes operational.
Now, at Copenhagen, it was, as you said, agreed that some funding should be provided for these low-lying island states, which are the most immediately at risk as a consequence of climate change. But Copenhagen also revealed that the small states don't have very much political clout. And what can be done on that front?
You know, at the end of the day, we cannot live in a divided world. I mean, we only have one world. And therefore, this is a test of solidarity. It is a test of our humanity. And it's really a test of bringing different interests together so that we learn to invest in a common future. And this is everybody's responsibility. It's not just the responsibility of the small island states. But in developing this common agenda, this common responsibility, the interests and the voice of the small island states must be heard, because they are the ones, we are not just talking about the decline in the economic growth, we're talking in some of the cases about their very survival.
On that score, do you think that the nations of the Pacific, in particular the big states like Australia and New Zealand, need to think more seriously and in more detail about the question of relocation of the people who may be finding their homelands disappearing?
I think the whole issue of climate refugees is a real issue, but hopefully it's not just an issue of climate refugees, but because in the 21st century, people are moving in search of jobs. I myself have been moving around, working in different locations. But what is important is to develop the skills, the protection systems, so that people can work and have decent lives in different places. But obviously, it is important that we manage this issue in such a way that it does not lead to conflict, and therefore we need to look at international migration, skilling up of the migrant population, so that people can earn in terms of remittances, but also be integrated into the high value job rather than constantly being integrated at the unskilled level.
Does that mean then that Australia and New Zealand have a special responsibility to address this issue and provide the means by which people from these vulnerable states can improve their skills and get better jobs?
I think some of it is already happening, and it can happen more. But at the same time, it's not that all islands will be affected in this particular way. But also, I think at the end of the day, we need to give people choices, and it doesn't have to wait until the island disappears. I think that the constant investment in education, in human capacities, in really dealing with the climate mitigation agenda, as well as in developing new possibilities based on green growth, green jobs, green connectivity, and as well as the kind of technology that is needed, including a shift to new energy sources, not just in the small island states, not just in the Pacific, but everywhere. It will help to deal with the climate change agenda.
Noeleen Heyzer, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Jim. It's lovely talking to you.